This situation, we were going to put a cooling unit down closer to where you can see it, but because we were able to open up elevation B more than we expected, we were able to get, instead of a through the wall unit or self-contained unit, we were able to get a split system unit. You want to be able to get a split system unit if you possibly can, and not be able to suffer through having a self-contained unit that's a little bit louder and a little bit noisier and a little bit distracted. With under the staircase, there's always surprises and things that you have to think about while building that under the staircase. And cooling is the most important because you have a staircase. Sometimes you can't put it over the door and you can't put it on the ground. You have to put it, somewhere that makes the most sense. And because under the staircase is so small, you don't have a lot of space to put a cooling unit. So to find extra space and to be able to duct it in or do a split system and hide the unit in a small space like that is very key to building the best wine room, getting the most bottle capacity, and getting the most aesthetic pleasing look. So a split system is 2 units, similar to an air conditioner. That is the condensing unit that goes outside, and then sits on a pad that's 30 inches by 30 inches. The unit itself is only 1.5 by 1.5, but we have what we call a doghouse that covers that unit to give it the proper airflow, but to protect it from the wind and from the weather elements that are out there. That's the reason why you get a service every 6 months to a year, because of the elements, the wind, the rain, that's dirty, things get clogged. This is the heart and soul of your entire wine room. To protect that investment of your wine is to service that unit on a yearly basis. So this is the condensing unit. What we do is we run copper lines, and then we put what's in there, which is a wall-mounted split system unit on the wall. Either cover it with a metal grill or a wood grill, depending on the woods, the species of wood or metal or whatever they have in the space, to make sure that they can have that grill covering that unit. I'm always about aesthetics. I'm about functionality, then aesthetics. And when you look at functionality, is that you want to have a split system unit. In this space, we didn't have the space for it, so we were going to do it through the wall unit right above those racks that you were showing us. So to the right of those racks that were straight ahead is where I hid that unit. When you work with amateurs or air conditioning techs, they just want to put it anywhere to try to make it the easiest spot. I normally don't like adding a humidor or humidification systems into wine rooms. There's ways to build your humidity into a wine room without adding a humidifier. If you get a cellar, I was just speaking to somebody recently and they're saying, oh, I want to get my cellar to 70. I have my cellar at 70% humidity in my house currently. And I said, well, that's really not good for the corks, because 70s, you start growing mold on corks. And if you want something short term, a year or two for the wine, I'm sure it's going to be fine. But 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, that's too moist for a cork. Hey, if you want to keep it at 70 degrees, by all means, we will do it. He says, now that you brought that up, it kind of smells like mildewy and wet and moldy in my room. And I said, and how old is your room? 2 years. So already it's creating a mold or a mildewed sweat on his walls and in his room and on the corks. So the optimal percentage you should have for a wine room is about 50 to 60%. Being at 45% is fine. Being at 50, 55, 60, getting to that 65, 70% is just too high for the corks and the longevity of the room. And if you start smelling odor, then you know it's not the right way to store the wine. This is a humidification system for his cigars. So he actually can store cigars in there, but it also blows obviously some humidity in the room. But being at 58 humidity is absolutely perfect. So he has some cigars in there, and if he left the cigars at 40 to 45%, it wouldn't be enough. We compromised at around 60% humidity for that space, which is great for both cigars and the wine.